this is Jpar, and this is the We Promise Nothing crew, and this is the new review. This week on the show, we have Lipp, we have Myles, and we have Da Boo. And this week we're reviewing Star Trek Beyond. Say hello to the crowd, everybody.
Hey everybody, this is Lipp. How's it going tonight?
Hey guys, Da Boo here.
Hello, this is Myles.
Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's get on to our new review rules, which is the first 10 minutes. We don't talk about any spoilers. We'll give you a review, and then at the end of just our general impressions of the movie, we're going to give you a rating, and then after that, we flip into Spoiler Town, where we're going to dig into this movie, tell you what we really love and what we really hate about it, and then we're going to tell you the best and the worst of the movie. So stick around for that. So let's get going with this. Boo! What are your general impressions of Star Trek Beyond? Were they beyond your expectations?
No, they definitely were not. I have to admit, I'm kind of mixed feelings with this one. It was generally entertaining. I felt like it was, action-packed all the way through. It's very much what I would expect from a Star Trek movie, I think. But I think that also is, therein lies the problem for me. There wasn't something extra about it. I felt like that kind of wowed me, I think, is the simplest way of putting it. I was just waiting for it, and I just felt like it never came to screen. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and Myles?
Yeah, I think you said everything exactly what I was going to say. You got the tip of the iceberg the whole movie. It's like they wanted to give you something, but they didn't give it to you. It had some cool concepts. It showed you like 3 different captains and what they would do in a certain situation. Mm-hmm. So that was very prominent throughout the movie, but as a whole, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. It was definitely the weakest of the 3 for me, the new 3.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you guys, and I think a little conversation with some of you before we did this, and I was starting to think that we're all going to have the same general impression of this movie, and it's kind of starting to seem that way. There's, it wasn't a great movie, and it wasn't a bad movie. It was just there. And that's the problem. It should be a little bit more dynamic than that. Lipp.
Yeah, it's really hard to say anything that you guys haven't already said. I agree with Boo when he said, I found it very action-packed. There's not really a lull in this movie. It goes from one event to the next, and there's always something interesting happening. I didn't feel like I was really, checking my watch or phone just to see what time it is or anything. But at the same time, I wasn't completely blown out of the water. As you guys said, like it's my least favorite of the 3.
Easily.
I really enjoyed how much they put Anton in there. He was in quite a bit of the movie, and he's one of my favorite characters from the first movie. And it's a shame that he's now passed.
He's unfortunately passed away. Since this movie's come out, before the movie even came out, he passed away, which is unfortunate. He's the actor that plays Chekhov, and his name is Anton.
Anton Yelchin?
His name is Anton Yelchin, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wasn't even that old, and he passed away after the filming of this movie and before it came out, unfortunately.
Very freak accident, too, from what I recall hearing. It wasn't obviously not planned, but it was just one of those quick moments where I think the entire community couldn't respond.
It was a Jeep malfunction?
Another kind of car accident, kind of weird.
He put it in neutral. And it got out of his vehicle, went to close his gate at his estate, and it rolled back, pinned him against the gate, and he died. And,
we'll remember him for his portrayal of Chekhov in the 3 Star Trek movies, the new 3 Star Trek movies. Now, this one here is not directed by J.J. Abrams, which is a big thing. It's Justin Lin.
Yep.
And he is known for his Fast and the Furious movies. What? Why is he mixed up with a Star Trek movie?
I think he's mixed up with it because he's good at having multiple characters and action and have a start to finish. The only problem is this movie, it had the action.
It had a lot of action. I can't complain about that.
That kind of explains a lot, to be honest with you, because, when I think back on any of the Fast and the Furious movies, not to literally compare, but, I feel like Fast and Furious was generally just that, action all the way through. There were some slight climactic moments, but in the long haul, it just felt like one giant, racing around setting.
Yeah.
But obviously not talking about that, but Star Trek I think kind of had that same effect. There was no lull like you had put it there, Lipp, but it was also you were just waiting for something. It just wasn't there. I don't know. I feel like it was.
I think we're waiting for that very, what we usually see in a Star Trek movie, which is like either like a twist or something very smart that comes in and kind of twists the movie around in such a way that makes you appreciate it more, but there just wasn't. I guess they try to do it in this movie, which we'll cover later in the spoilers, but I didn't feel like they really hit it in this one. I was always waiting for something to happen, like you said.
Yeah, now this was it co-written by Simon Pegg? Or
He did do some writing on this, yes.
Yeah. I really enjoy him as an actor. He plays a really good Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the dialogue showed from that. The comedic dialogue that
Absolutely.
was in the movie did show because Simon Pegg was involved. If he wasn't involved, I don't think that great dialogue would have been there between the characters.
Absolutely. I feel like some of the jokes I was like, oh, that's a Simon Pegg joke right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's written right in there by him.
Well, and also Carl Urban, who plays Bones McCoy, the Doctor, he's also a Star Trek fan, so he knows this material. He knows the characters. So, I mean, having him and a guy like Simon Pegg who knows, Scotty so well, these Star Trek characters so well is definitely there's nothing you can lose from having guys like that. I mean, it's the only thing that makes it maybe good, comparable. Like, I don't know how big of a star or how big of a fan Justin Lin is, but I just found the writing was not comparable to a Star Trek episode or movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah.
100%. It was missing that Star Trek spark or something. There was something missing.
Star
It was
Trek often
skin deep.
deals with like interactions between different races and stuff. They had a little bit of that at the start.
Anyways, let's get into spoiler shit.
Yeah.
So let's just give our ratings without giving too much away. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna cut it clean right now because I've been fighting with it back and forth for the last couple days, thinking about what I wanted to give this movie, and it's very much what these guys said. A lot of action, so it definitely kept me interested. And it wasn't a bad movie by any means. But definitely was not a great movie. And for that, because it did not leave an impression on me, I mean, even thinking back, I'm thinking back to it now, and it's been a couple days since we've seen it, I have no really big desire to go watch it again. It was just kind of, it was there. So it gets a solid 3. And Lipp, what do you think?
Because there wasn't a lull in it, I really enjoyed some of the acting and some of the jokes. We talked it was action-packed, there was lots of fighting. The fight scenes for me were kind of like a bit of a sore spot. I think I kind of mentioned this to you.
I'm going to get into that later.
The fighting, the scenes go by really quickly. It's got quick camera shots and quick punches and stuff. And I feel at the end, I'm like, okay, I get that he knocked this guy out or this alien out, but I don't really know how he did it or how all that fight sequence kind of fit together. And it hurts my brain to watch.
It does. It was like watching Hunger Games again.
Yeah. I just feel like it's shitty acting and shitty camera work that they can't show good punches.
Just wasn't good fight choreography.
I don't know. I'm really torn between a 3 and a 3.5 here. I'm probably going to give it a 3.5. I did enjoy it. There's some concepts that I really enjoyed that I'll get into later. Are we going through spoilers now? Or
Not yet.
Quite? Okay. So 3.5, and I'll explain that more as we get into the spoilers.
Da Boo.
I think we're all obviously on the same page. If I'm going to have to keep it plain, I'm torn between the 3 and the 3.5. I might sadly have to give it the 3 this time, though, Lipp. I think for the simple reason that no matter how hard I try, I still have a hard time finding that one little something out of the whole movie that made it feel
different.
Maybe different's the right word. Just something, you know.
Yeah.
It's so odd that I keep it so vague, and yet at the same time, I think we all know exactly what I'm talking about here. When you're watching a movie, there's one set of drive to watch the entire thing, and then there's another drive where you're almost expecting there to be either a shock or a wow or whatever you want to call it, and it just didn't have that. And I kind of feel like that's so hard for me to find that I'm just going to simply give it the 3 because, like Jay had said it's not a bad movie. It doesn't deserve a bad rating, but I still feel like it just didn't give it enough for me. So 3 it is.
Okay, well, I was in the same boat as you guys.
Surprising.
I was battling between a 2.5 and
Ooh.
a 3.
Ooh, wow.
Only
So
because the first 2 before it kind of set the standard for me.
Yeah.
I really liked the first one. The second one, I really liked that one as well. And then this one came out, I was kind of like, oh no. are we gonna keep going after this movie? Because
They are.
yeah, well that kind of scares me a little bit.
A bit.
So I'm gonna give it a 3, just because, like you guys said, it's not a bad movie, but the action sequences were so shaky and hard to follow.
Ugh.
And we weren't watching a 3D version or anything.
No,
it's not
thank
like your
God.
eyes had to adjust.
I would have fucked my
But
eyes
the
up.
camera sometimes weren't even on the people 100%. It was like you see half of them, and
Yeah.
like Lipp said, it's like all of a sudden he's knocked out. It's like, how do you do that?
How? What? Well,
Okay,
okay. Well, I
I'm just
guess
gonna
that
let it
happened
happen.
now.
It's
All
not
right.
important.
On with the story
Move
now.
on. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
All right.
No, I did
I think we spent enough time telling you why this movie just didn't stick out. But go make an opinion for yourself. Any final comments, guys?
Still a good movie. Just don't expect a whole lot.
I liked the little memorial. It wasn't much to Leonard Nimoy and Anton at the end. It just said in memory of, and it was halfway through the credits, and I think some more credits rolled after.
Yeah.
Both of those famous Star Trek actors have passed since the last movie and this one.
All right, so if you like what you hear, like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget, you can also follow us on Twitter, which is @WePromiseNothin'. Drop the G, and you can like us on Facebook as well while you're at it. This is Jpar signing out.
This is Lipp taking off.
Da Boo going bye-bye.
I'm staying here. I live here.
Oh, shit.
He's not leaving
I
the
guess
building.
you're not leaving the building this
I'm gonna
time.
be here when you guys leave.
So you would leave only to come right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, if you disagree with anything we say on the show, you can leave a comment below. But also, we promise nothing. Good night.